So you're thinking about moving to Melbourne, Florida, and this place called Viera, Florida is on the list. Today, I am going to go over everything you need to know when it comes to Viera, Florida, because this past year, probably about 75% of my clients have purchased in Viera because it's got so much to offer. So I wanted to create this video today and go over everything someone would want to know when they're moving to Viera. Viera is an unincorporated area of Brevard County. It is a master plan community, but it's a stewardship. So it's not like its own city. But something really great about that is that you're paying Brevard County taxes, which are traditionally lower than a city tax. Now, there are other things that I always say, well, you get this, but you get that too. So I'm going to go over that a little bit. But just to talk about it geographically right now, it is located pretty much in the center of Brevard County. It's about an hour away from Orlando, about an hour away from the Orlando airport. Pretty easy drive to get there. I've actually helped a couple of pilots just in the past year that are going to be working out of Orlando move to the area because the drive isn't bad at all and it has so much to offer for their family. Nonetheless, Viera is located more tucked in inland, so it's not a beachfront area, but anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes away from the beach, wherever you live in Viera, which is really nice, which is a bonus because you are tucked away for hurricanes, but you're also super close, which I think is really great. Viera was created by the Duda family, who actually owned all or most of the land in that area, and they used it as a sod farm and celery farm. So if you go to the grocery store, you may actually see some of their packaging. They still produce celery and sod up until today. I believe all their farms and everything is more west of Viera now, but it's still going on, which is really cool. So all that land was developed by the same family. They're the same family that owned the Viera Builders up until today. It's a really cool story. Essentially, they started building in Viera East, which is called Viera East because it's east of I-95. And those started being developed in pretty much like the early 2000s, and upwards started being developed in the Viera West area, which is west of I-95. So you got a little bit older in Viera East, and then on Viera West, you have early 2000s up until being built today. Both Viera East and Viera West have a lot to offer. They're both master planned, so nice, beautiful aesthetic, mature landscaping. Viera East is a lot more mature because it's older, and some of Viera West is mature, and most of it is kind of getting there though. Some of it's brand new, some of it's been there for about 10 years and so forth. So you kind of have a mix of maturity and landscaping throughout. If you're someone who loves more mature landscaping, maybe you want like oak trees covering street, you're looking more in Viera East than Viera West. Now, something about Viera West is that it is a golf cart community. In Viera East, you can absolutely own a golf cart, go drive it to the golf courses that are on that side, but unfortunately you can't cross I-95. There is an extension that's been in the works for years and years. It's off by Spyglass, and there is a sign right there that says, you know, future development of the crossover into Viera West. I wish they could do it right now. That'd be amazing. But unfortunately, expanding roads and so forth can take years and years. So unfortunately, there is no connection from Viera East for someone to get on a golf cart. However, super easy drive. It's 5 minutes into Viera West, so you can use what Viera West has to offer. Because Viera East is more residential, parks, golf, and then Viera West has more of the urban mix with neighborhoods. In Viera West, you're going to have a bunch of nice neighborhoods, like I said, starting kind of in the early 2000s up until today. And then you also have the Avenue in Viera. So that is an open air mall. It's got great options. It's got, I don't know why this is coming at first. I just love this place so much in the avenues, but nothing bun cakes are so delicious. That's the first thing that came up. But they have an AMC theater there. They have a Kohl's, Sephora, Ulta, Chipotle. They have the Jump Zone, forget what it's called. They have, you know, one of those trampoline places there. They have a golf cart shop there. They have Old Navy's. They have tons of stores. They're getting a Nordstrom Rack. They just opened up a Kendra Scott there. So lots and lots of options for shopping. If you like to shop, it might be a little bit dangerous for you. I know whenever I'm showing houses over there, I'm always like, maybe I should pick up something, some jewelry, some clothes. This is just speculative right now. There was a permit pulled for Trader Joe's in the Michaels that is closing down right now in the Avenue. So we won't have a Michaels. They closed down. There is a permit pulled for Trader Joe's. So fingers crossed. I love Trader Joe's. So we might be getting a Trader Joe's in the Avenue, which is really great. They also have a Whole Foods coming in. They're supposed to open this year, but I haven't really seen that much construction, so it probably into next year. But we do have that, which is also a really big indicator into the economy of Viera because Whole Foods does a ton of research into areas economics to see people moving into the area. How is the economy there? So they've done all their research and they're opening up there. So that's really exciting. And so I'm excited for that. I'm going to probably spend like $30 on lunch there. But maybe once in a blue moon, it's nice to go try out the food there. So it's really good. But anyways, they have tons of new restaurants, older restaurants. One of my favorites, Urban Prime, is really good. It's a local chef owned. Another one is 28 North Gastropub. And that's the dining options there. If you're living in Viera West, you can get in the golf cart and go to those restaurants, which is really great. They're opening up like a Mediterranean restaurant over in Viera West. It's not open yet, but they're moving from the Avenue. They're opening up one over there, and there's also supposed to be, they have like a lake over there, and there's a walking path around the lake with some adult swings. So lots of really cool things. They're also developing a trail over by a neighborhood that's called Strom Park and in Arapica. And that trail is going to go, it's actually going to be like the Katy Trail in Texas, where there's like canopy trees. I'm going to put the concept picture right here for you to see, but really cool, especially for someone that likes hikes. Unfortunately, Florida is very flat, but if you'd like to go for walks, I think it's going to be really cool. They have lots of things in the works. They also have a food truck park, a pavilion going in over by Urban Prime. There's always stuff coming new there, which is really exciting, but there's already stuff there as well for families and for young adults, for retirees. It's a really great area, and a lot of people find that has a lot to offer. Okay, so I'm gonna get into a little bit more of what you need to know if you're considering making a purchase in Viera, Florida. But real quick, if you're new here, my name is Rachel Langley. I'm a local real estate agent here in Viera and the Space Coast for that matter. And I have families just like you every day relocate to the Space Coast. I was in your shoes a few years ago. My husband and I were done with the cold. You might be coming from the cold. Maybe you're coming from California and just sick of the prices and traffic. Whatever the case be, we did the move for our own reasons, and we absolutely love it here. It has been life-changing, and so I love helping people make the move as well and seeing how it has impacted their lives as well. Make sure to reach out if you're considering to make the move. You already got the job offer. Maybe you're retiring in 5 years. Whatever the case be, make sure to reach out. My number is on the screen right there. You can call, text me, email me, or set up a call at the Calendly link below. Whichever way you prefer, reach out and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Okay, so let's get into more of the real estate market. So the resident count right now is 31,000, according to online sources. And I believe they're just halfway done with building in Viera. So I can see that, I believe, the population, they're looking for that to be doubled. So right now the traffic isn't, it depends on who you talk to, honestly. There's someone that could have moved there 20 years ago and they think the traffic is horrid. And there's people that, are moving from Miami and they think this is easy peasy. I personally don't think the traffic is bad at all. Of course, there's cars on the road, especially on a Saturday or when people are getting to work or school's getting in, school's getting out. But the cool thing is that they drive their golf carts a lot more if you're living in the Viera West. To avoid traffic, you can use your car or just take the golf cart and have fun with that, whatever your preference is. There's a resale that you can get, whether it's Viera East or Viera West. There's also new construction that you can consider as well. There's 55 plus construction. There's also all age single family homes as well. They also have apartment buildings. So maybe you want to build. Those are great options to live in for a few months while you're waiting for your home to build. Also, just maybe you're doing the transition and you don't know where you want to live yet. Those are great options as well. I've had clients that have lived here for 1 or 2 years to scope out the area and then just recently purchased. So no rush, make the best decision. But I know, especially when you have a big family, sometimes it's horrible moving multiple times and you just want to find the perfect spot. So that's where I've come into. I help people kind of alleviate the stress because I've been there, done the move, and I've helped hundreds of people do the move as well to help alleviate that stress and have a smooth process with that. Let's get into the neighborhood. So a lot of the neighborhoods have resort style amenities. So most of those are going to be in what's called the Addison Village Club. And at those, there's a bunch of neighborhoods that go to that. And those have resort style amenities. So they have like a zero entry pool. They have a lap pool. They have some workout classes there. You can host parties. They have tennis lessons, tennis courts, pickleball courts. So that's a big draw for Addison Village over there. They're building some neighborhoods still that go to that, but they're not really your traditional single family homes. They have like half duplexes and quadplexes. I think they're finishing those out right now. So by the time that might be finished, but they do have what's called courtyard homes that they're building. those are really great options. I've had a few clients purchase those this year and they love them. Most of the neighborhoods in the West do have a community pool. The more luxury communities that they build, like $1 million plus, they typically don't put pools because they find that the clients prefer their own pool or to build their own pool. For the most part, many of the neighbors have community pools. East as well, a lot of them do have those as well. So one of the biggest draws too is its school system. Everything is Brevard County school system. However, there are specific schools both East and West. And as a real estate agent, I'm not allowed to place my opinion on schools or crime. I understand if you're moving here, you want to know if somewhere is safe and if they have good schools. So I always put links down below to research all of that. But if you were to click those links, you would see that all the schools in Viera are A-rated. So that's a big draw for sure. Not only if you have kids, but even if you don't, resale value for A-rated school districts typically is higher than ones that don't. So I mentioned taxes a little bit earlier. So both Viera East and Viera West are in unincorporated Brevard. Some of Viera has a Rockledge address and most of Viera has a Melbourne address, but neither are technically part of either city. You know, the MLS and Zillow to have an address. But if you were to write down your address after you move in for your address, Viera, it would go to your address. So it's a little bit confusing, but technically you're not a part of the city of Melbourne. You are in the stewardship of Viera. So depending on where you are, the great thing is taxes are pretty reasonable. I usually say it's about 1% of your purchase price, which is really great. Some people are coming from 1.5%, 1.8% their purchase price. So it's one of the lower ones in all of Brevard County, which is great. However, you are going to run into both CDD fees and HOA fees, multiple of them. So depending on where you are, even Viera East has some CDD fees. They're usually like a couple $100s, but the newer communities and have higher CDD, it's only $1,000 a year and it's fixed. It's on a 30-year bond. However, you will run into them. There are some communities that don't have the CDD fees, but they do have the HOA fees. So in my opinion, with all those fees, it's not bad because the taxes are lower. You can be running into a CDD fee. And then you have the master's HOA, which is only usually about $150 a year, maybe $175. If you're in Central, you might have that HOA fee, which again is only a few $100s a year. And then you also have your neighborhood. And also, if you are in one of those resort style communities like in Addison Village, you also have to pay for that and it's mandatory. So I believe Addison Village is now at about $675 a year. And you know, if you're a family of 5 and you can send your kids there and they can have fun and you can relax, it's $675 for all 5 of you. So I do think it's a great benefit for people. The thing about it is they have options for everyone. So if you don't want to be paying all those fees, then there's certain neighborhoods in Viera East that are really low HOAs versus some in Viera West that have a little bit more on the higher side, but offer the amenities that some people like a big family might be looking for activities for their kids or themselves. So something to consider when you find a home you like. We can break it down from there and see if financially it works for you and go from there. One of the nice things is that you are inland. So whether you're in Viera East or Viera West, I do find insurance rates to be super reasonable. So Viera East, typically you're anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000 a year, which is great for Florida. And then in Viera West, I've seen insurance rates under $2,000 a year, especially for the newer ones. For the brand new ones, I've seen them as low as $1,500 a year. Now, if you watch my videos before, you know I always recommend flood insurance. You know, if you're farther away from the ocean and storm surge and everything, but interesting enough, I was just talking to an agent friend of mine who lives over in Tampa, and his house flooded during Hurricane Milton. And it wasn't due to storm surge. It was due to just sitting rain and the fact that their home was the lowest in the neighborhood. And that can happen if maybe you have the best drainage in the world in your neighborhood and it gets clogged. Maybe a tree falls down and clogs the drain. Your home can get flooded. That can honestly happen anywhere in the United States. But especially because in Florida, we get so much rain and water during those big storms, I highly recommend. So most of my clients are anywhere from $400 to $750 for flood insurance. And it's something I recommend for everyone. Protect your biggest asset. I have it on my home too. I'm not in a flood zone, but I still have it. So it's up to you, but it's an extra expense that I would recommend budgeting for. Overall, Viera is such a wonderful place to live. And I have clients who absolutely adore it. I recently just helped actually 2 neighbors, like they were neighbors up in a different state, both moved down, and I just love seeing them, how happy they are. We're friends on Facebook, and I see all their stories of them buying their golf cart and going around with their family, learning how to drive it around. They're just loving life here. I always say my favorite year here is our first year. We went to Disney probably like 10 times the first year. When I become friends, I mean, not all my clients, we only friends on Facebook. I just love seeing all their Florida adventures, and they're just so happy. Viera is such a cool place to live. It was named number 10 top master plan community in the United States, which is huge, especially because it's built by a local builder. A huge accomplishment that they have. It's such a cool community. A lot of people really love it, and some people don't. Sometimes I have either my Viera buyers or my Merritt Island buyers. Sometimes I have people that are more into the old Florida charm. Don't want the master plan. Don't want the cookie cutter neighborhoods. Either have one or the other. If you're not fitting in this seat, it's totally okay. I have lots of videos on other areas of Brevard County. Maybe you want something more rural. Maybe Titusville, or Mims, or somewhere south of Palm Bay might work better for you. I have videos all over Brevard County, so if you're new here, make sure to check them out, or just reach out so I can guide you to what I think works best for you and your family, and we can go from there. So make sure you reach out. My information is on the screen right here. It's in the pinned comment and the description below, because I got your back when it comes to moving to Viera and the Space Coast for that matter. So thank you so much for watching. I'm Rachel Langley, and I'll see you on the next one.